1, 2, 3, 4! From the Riffs! Hey, welcome back to From the Riffs. We're at the Palladium Open House, and I'm Big Will Johnson.
Carmen Blair.
And we're sitting here with Matthew Clements. He's a writer at Palladium, and he's doing all kinds of great things. We're going to get to know him a little better and find out some of the stuff he's worked on, and find out what makes him tick and what gives him all those great ideas. So,
All right.
the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, start with like what it is you've worked on. What's your writing background? Give us an idea.
Well, I guess start at the beginning. I am a local kid. Palladium is not too far from me. That's one of the only reasons why I could, come in so easily. But from August to January of last year, I was the staff writer here. I was in here 8 hours a day, just churning out more text. And in that time, I worked on, let's see if we can do the whole list again. Riff's Black Market, The Endless Dead, the new Vampires source book that is coming out, Northern Gun 1 and 2, Riff's Antarctica, which is still sitting on the shelf, and then I also did a few editions for Chaos Earth First Responders.
And your screen.
Yes, oh, and I wrote Riff's Path of the Storm, my
There we go.
screenplay, which is how I first got Kevin's attention.
Good
Now,
stuff.
can you segue to tell us why you're no longer the staff writer?
Oh, actually, I went out to Hollywood fairly recently, met with Kevin's, random Hollywood connections, and I'm working on a new screenplay now for one of them, so
Yeah, that's great.
hopefully
That's
that'll
cool.
take off.
And he's managed to avoid the $300 a day coke habit as well. So. No, just kidding.
Okay.
It's not that bad in Hollywood, is it?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
No, it was an expensive trip, just for going on vacation.
Now, on the stuff that you write, can you give us an idea of how you get your inspiration? Like we were talking with the artists, and they gave us an idea of like the music they like to listen to, that kind of thing. Do you have like a certain type of writing that gets you excited? I know when I read science fiction, as soon as I read science fiction, I'm ready to go. I want to write something science fiction. Similar? Or?
I'd say it definitely goes hand in hand with that. I love concepts and ideas, and obviously Riffs is the perfect place to be for that.
Okay.
You can excuse or justify any concept in Riffs. You can do anything you want. Anything my imagination could cook up with, there's a place for it in one of those Riffs books, definitely.
All right.
So, at what point did you decide, like, I think I want to write? Is it something you've always kind of played with, or was there a point where you were like, you know what, I have an idea, no one else has done it, and I'm gonna bang on the keyboard.
I think I started writing before I had any good ideas.
Okay.
So I can remember being 10 and trying to write a novel. Of course, it was terrible. And then, and throughout school, I kept up the writing. And then in high school, I'd say it was 16 or 17, I had a really bad breakup. And for whatever reason, I decided I was going to try to deal with it by writing as opposed to, curling up into a ball and crying. And my first novel just kind of poured out. It was a great experience. It took me a couple of years to get through that. And I finished that one up in college. And I realized in college, there are more people writing books now than ever before. There are less people reading books now, well, percentage-wise, than ever before, because there's so many competing mediums.
Right.
So I switched over to screenplays, which...
All right. Did you take any schooling for writing, or? Is it all
Yes,
self-taught?
actually, my major from Central Michigan University is specifically creative writing. So I am using my major. Everyone told me it was worthless.
All right. Well,
Ha! You're all wrong.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's worth a little.
Yeah.
so as opposed to the artists who were all self-taught, we actually have one guy who went to school.
Yeah. School training.
This is Carmen's way of saying I'm a writer. Anyway,
I never said that. I'm saying he got an education. It was cool. The rest of us didn't, apparently.
Apparently. All right. So that said,
Well, you bring up my biggest problem with the creative writing degree was never once in any of those classes did they sit us down and say, all right, today we're discussing the classic plot structure, or today we're talking about villains and how to make them effective. Today we're going to talk about how to make characters love your hero. We never had that. You had to figure that out all yourself.
Really?
Writing class was workshop. You wrote something, everyone read it. Sure, you might get a lot of good feedback, but you got to figure out how to get there yourself.
right.
Wow, that kind of sucks.
It does. It's like,
That's what conventions are for.
Oh.
Yeah. Most people learn how to do their major when they
Start.
get their major.
Yeah.
I never learned how to write in class.
Oh, okay.
Now, you gave us an idea of background on that. Can you tell us like what kinds of stuff you like to write for Palladium, or even in general?
Well, when it comes down to these Riffs books, I'm all about the equipment. I mean, I love doing OCCs, I like writing fluff text, the magic spells and whatever, you know, I enjoy that too, but it's all about the robots and the vehicles and the guns and the gear, because I feel with that, you can sprinkle a little bit of real science on the science fiction and make it, just so much more effective and believable and cooler too.
Apparently whatever you're doing is working, because, I mean, people agree that, you know, Riffs that's where you draw some of the best materials.
Yeah.
So.
Riffs.
Now, when you're working on the Riffs books, say, you know, the weapons and stuff is the coolest. How do you stop them from, like, you know, just looking like it's another gun with 2 more points of damage? Or it's another, like, how do you stop that just sameness?
Just making one more robot.
Yeah, so they're different, like, you know what I mean? Because it is kind of easy to get into that. This is just like that robot, but this and this is different.
Right.
You know.
And obviously with Riffs, there's so many models, so much stuff out there that you really can't avoid the overlap completely. So I'd say my advice on that level is find a really specific goal or job or purpose for whatever this thing is you're making up, and focus it on that, and try to try to make nothing standard.
All right. Well, how much fluff do you like putting in? It's kind of the part that you don't use when you're actually playing the game much, but it's the part that you want to read while you're sitting around at home.
Right.
So it's always like that's a hard balance to figure out how much should be. So how do you figure out where you want to lay it?
You know, I don't know if I ever really figured out a solid balance. Not like I ever stop myself and say this doesn't have enough fluff or this has too much. It's just the fluff is necessary to provide structure. So, you know, if you're reading through that book and you realize you don't understand how a certain part of what you're writing works, a certain part of your world, a certain piece of equipment, then obviously you need some backup fluff for that.
Yeah.
So, and with Northern Gun, or you know, with Riffs books in general, there's definitely a structure. You know, you write your intro, you write the basics about a place, you have statistical information, you do a couple specifics, bounce around, a couple characters. And you know it has a template format that seems to.
Did you find that format when you're working on your own stuff, or when you were here as staff writer editing other people's stuff to get it to the format?
Oh, that definitely helped, because you know just having to rewire everything and just reconnect, making these stats can take an eternity. So
I can imagine.
Yeah. So learning how to do it right the first time is really important. Yes. And now after writing a couple of books, I have a standard template that I use for everything, and you know I've emailed that to some of the writers. I can send them your way if you want, and it's a nice time saver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, do you enjoy the fluff part more, or because I know when I'm working on something that's my favorite part. I like the not dealing with the mechanical stuff so much, and dealing with just the you know the neat backstory. You know, do you like that part more, or do you like dealing with all those number crunching? Because I have a hard time with that. It just kills me. I go from like writing quick to like stop.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely happen. I like the numbers, I think, a little more than you do, mainly because, I don't know, a certain level of obsession with it. Because I feel like I can look at it and I know it'll feel wrong to me after reading so many Riffs books, after knowing a little bit about how things work in the real world. I'll read something and just think that range is ridiculous, or that weight just doesn't work. So, you know, I feel good spotting those things and changing them. But, you know, the fluff is a lot more fun to write, I'd say, overall. But, of course, where does the fluff stop? Because every description is fluff, and there's fluff in the weapon descriptions. And
I kind of consider that the fluff, too. Right. So it's usually, to me, it's the nitty-gritty numbers that are the crunchy stuff. But, you know, is there... You know, did it make a big difference going from doing the staff writer to doing, you know, the freelance? Like, was it? Do you still write the same way or same stuff? You know, do you write at night now, or do you write, you know, just in spare time when you're working? Or
see, you know, because we've been talking with the artists, and all the artists are basically vampires.
Yeah. Oh, really?
They're all night people.
Yeah,
so,
and
well, I guess the question is. Are you a day walker, or are you a night stalker?
Because when you worked here, you obviously had to work during the day.
It was daytime.
But now that you're freelancing, do you do that, you know, at night, you know, in your spare time at night, or do you still keep mostly day hours?
You know, I do it in my spare time. The thing is, I'm definitely a night owl. I stay up late, but I can't do good writing that late because my energy is used up. You know, I wake up and first thing in the morning, I like to hit it and do you know, a couple hours writing when you've got that energy, because after that, you can go run errands without being inspired. You can go do whatever else has to be done in your day without, you know.
Okay, so you're actually more of a day guy then.
Wow,
so.
he broke the mold.
No, not really. Artists are still vampires.
Okay. All right. Well, that's about it for time, I think. And I think we hit most of the points.
Yeah, I sense kind of a versus coming on here, man. Artists versus writers. But yeah, it was great talking.
It's a good thing we have to work together.
Yeah, we do.
Right,
But,
let's close it out. And,
all right. So, till next time, I'm Big Will Johnson.
Carmen Blair.
Matthew Clements.
All right, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And this is From the Riffs. Guys, be sure that you click on the adverts. The adverts are going to get us money. The money that we make goes into the show. We will make the show bigger and better and more fantastic for you. This entertainment that we provide does come at a cost. It's not just time, it's cash. So we'll see you guys later. From the Riffs.
See ya.